until I went there to the States and I competed and I went to the gyms and I saw and I observed, I didn't really know what everyone else is doing or, how hard they're training or anything. But now I did because I've been exposed to it. Mm-hmm. And Lee Haney his first Olympia win was in '84, right?
Yeah.
I picked up a weight seriously to start training in '83. So Lee Haney was Mr. Olympia through that whole period. But I realized that I couldn't go into that contest like a fanboy,
Sure.
Because, if you're going in with that attitude, like, you can't win, right? So
no.
I had to forget that this was the guy that was Mr. Olympia when I started. Okay, he was, but I've done all this hard work, and now, you know what? I'm going to go to this contest. I'm going to try to beat this guy, and I think I have a chance. And for sure, I definitely train harder than him and take my job that I'm doing more seriously than anybody. So that gives you a lot of confidence that you know that. You don't think that, you know that.
It's interesting, though. Haney actually was probably the best he's ever been at that contest. He must have known, they must have told him, hey, you better not slip up on this thing because you got a guy who's nipping at you, who's going to come in here, who's going to give you a run for your money. Because I never saw Haney look that conditioned before.
Absolutely. Like Big Lee, easygoing Southern guy. He's like just beating anybody like pretty easy, right?
Yeah.
He didn't really have no challenge there. I mean, what do you have? Lee Labrada. I mean, if Lee Labrada was 6 foot tall and 250 pounds, maybe he could beat Lee Haney.
Right.
Because you could argue maybe his balance is better, but he's not 6 foot and 250. No. He's like 5 foot and 150. So, Lee Labrada couldn't beat him. Gaspari was great, but come on, man, you can't beat Lee Haney.
Right.
You got Mike Christian, whose upper body could possibly challenge or beat Lee Haney, we could argue, but his legs were too weak. So, unless he really screwed up, it's a shoe-in for him, right? He got that Mr. Olympia.
Right.
But I met a guy that he was his training partner for '92. I can't remember his name now, but he's a big Italian dude, like 6'5", big, strong guy. And Haney trained with him for that whole thing, for the '92 Olympia, and he said absolutely that's why he was training with me, and that's why he was training, like pushing, because he knew he had a challenge on his hands now. Yeah. He couldn't screw around, so he had to start pushing a little bit. And for sure, he was at his best that year, and he had more experience of being on stage, and the presentation and the posing and all that stuff mattered then. It was judged then. It's not now, which we can debate whether that's good or not. Right. But I beat him on the compulsory poses, which
no one's ever done.
I mean, if we judge the contest now without the posing round, I could have come out the winner. But,
sure.
Second in my first Olympia, nobody had ever done that yet. That was the first time that had been achieved. And, Lee Haney is at his maximum, right? He's at his peak.
Right.
Dorian's just beginning. So the writing's on the wall there, what's going to happen next. And I'm sure Lee Haney could read the wall just as good as anyone else. So what's the point? What's the point for him to compete again? He got the record. He's got 8 titles.
Right.
They got this crazy guy now who's coming and is like, he's not going to give up, right? So why risk getting beaten and going out on a loss, which I believe he would have done if he'd stayed around another year.
Yeah, I think it was smart. It was nice to go out as the champion, never get beaten.
Yeah, that's a smart thing to do, man. You don't want to tarnish your record almost with a loss.